Hello! If you are doing a tiered cake for your dessert, let's begin that process. You will go to the shape indicator and press and hold until you go down to the ellipse tool. You will start off with drawing the bottom tier of the cake, including the icing, and then we will duplicate it and make multiple copies depending on how tall you want your cake to be. Okay, so before we start, check the fill should be white, the stroke should be black, and the point size could be either 1 or 2. Okay, all right, we're going to start with an oval, and then we are going to add a rectangle. So we press and hold till we get to the rectangle tool. This pink line indicates that the beginning of the rectangle would be the same width as the oval, and that's what we want. So we're going to click and drag across. Okay. Remember that your selection tool is the black arrow. You can pull this down until you get the pink line that goes across. That means that you have it in the correct spot and that it matches. There we go, intersect. Just had it. Okay, and I want to zoom in. Before I merge the shapes, I want to check the edges and make sure that the width, there we go, the width of the oval should match the width of the rectangle. And now I'm ready to merge both shapes. So I go to my black arrow. The circle, it looks like it's already selected. It has the blue outline. With my left hand, I press Shift. Right hand, I click on the rectangle. When I do that, Pathfinder pops up. I touch Merge. You may remember that I need to unselect this shape before I add my next one. So I go to Command Shift A to unselect it. I'll go to the rectangle tool, add in the beginning of the icing. That's the rectangle. I press letter N as in Nancy for the pencil tool. And I have to unselect, excuse me, I have to unselect the rectangle before I move on. So Command Shift A, pencil tool. And you may remember that when drawing, you're trying to create these drips. It's okay to stop and start as long as you still have the blue dotted line. And your goal is to bring your pencil all the way back to the beginning. So you see a 0 pop up. There it is. All right, that is a closed shape. Now, what do you do if you don't like some of these parts to it? If you don't like this bump here or that bump there. One thing I haven't really talked about is that there are ways to eliminate without necessarily using the eraser. To do that, you're going to press the minus key to the right of the 0 on your keyboard. Sorry. And you're going to get this pen tool. This pen tool will remove some of these bumps, some of these anchor points. So I can hit minus and that will smooth that particular curve. I can hit minus here and it curves it there, okay? That allows me to make it look a little bit more of a wave. You can also change the shape by going to the black arrow and stretching this shape out till it's in line with the rectangle, okay? All right, that looks good. The line is selected and closed. I'll change the fill to white. And now I'm going to merge both shapes together. So I'm going to hold my Shift key, click on the top rectangle, and sorry, I didn't click on both. That one and this one. Now, the Pathfinder shows up. merge those two together. Great. And now I can add the circle on the top. So I go back to the rectangle, I go to the ellipse, press and hold, making the ellipse the same width as the rectangle, moving it up to the top, and there is the beginning of my first tier of the cake. Okay, at this point I could go to the black arrow, click and drag over the whole thing, and I can group it. So I can go to Object, Group, and now I can still kind of adjust the shape if I want to, make it taller or more narrow. And what I'm going to do is move it down because I still want to have a second tier. So here is the first tier. I'm going to make a copy. So that's Command C. And to paste it, it's Command V as in Victor. So here's my second copy, but I don't want the drips identical in the same place, so I'm going to flip it. The flip horizontal is on the right-hand side. And I'm going to make this one smaller. All right, put it in the middle. Good. Okay. Next, I will add the plate that will go underneath. You know that that was just a simple rectangle. I am placing it here because I didn't start with it this time, but I can always put it underneath. So I go to Arrange and Send to Back. And now I can go to my black arrow and move it up so that it's underneath the cake. I'm going to make one smaller, and then I'll make one slightly larger. All right, so Command C, Command V, Arrange, Send to Back. Okay, all right, so that is the beginning of my cake. And at this point, you would use all the tools that we've practiced to add your theme. Recently, my daughter wanted a spa themed cake, and so that's what we did. So here's an example of a cake theme that's finished. We have flowers and cucumbers and nail polish, an eye mask, and flip-flops. Okay. Adding the outline will be optional once you get to the end of the project. Notice that I took the outline out of this, but I could easily add it back in by going to the black arrow, clicking and dragging over the shapes, and changing the stroke. Maybe I would make it purple or something, and make it a 2. Oh, not 3, 2. Okay, so there's the same design with the outline. It's up to you if you'd like to keep the outline or not. Okay, all right, everybody, I look forward to seeing your final projects. Good luck.